All right. I am so glad that you were able to join me here today. Again, this is a Cody Speaks with news, facts, and comments in conjunction with Major TV. We are here today to bring you an exclusive interview with our brother Commander Patrick Alexander of the Elmore Geronimo Pratt Gun Club. He's here to give us some updates on the case involving our brother um, Mark Lesure. He was assaulted by a Senatobia Police Chief last year, and we're here to just bring you some updates and ask some questions that all of us may have been wondering, like, what's going on with the case. Will the chief of police be charged with assault, and how's our brother working on his legal defense side? So these are the questions we're going to pose to our dear brother Commander Patrick Alexander with the Elmore Geronimo Pratt Gun Club. I'm gonna bring him in just in a few seconds. And once you guys do me a favor, hit the like button. We're on News, Facts, and Comments on YouTube. Cody Speaks on YouTube, and as well as Major TV. And I thank you for joining me wherever you are. Could have been anywhere else, but you're here today to get this update. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in Patrick to see what type of updates we have on our brother Mark Lesure. Okay, peace and blessings, my brother. How are you?
Power and peace, sister. Black power to you. I'm great. I'm great.
Great.
I
So
guess.
yes, you are great, and like I said, thank you again for joining me and to provide us with some updates on what's going on with our brother's case. Um, Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let everybody know who you are and how you got involved with our brother's case.
Oh well, first of all, thank you for having me on, sister Achoti, right?
That's
Ach-
correct.
Achoti, Achoti.
Cody. That's
Appreciate
right.
you, Achoti. Appreciate you for having me on. I take it as an honor to be able to express to the nation the ongoings of what's been going on here in Mississippi. And I'm brother Patrick Alexander is my government name, but to the people here in Mississippi and all around the country, I'm known as brother Patrick Lumumba. So what's going on with our situation here in Senatobia, Mississippi? I'm in the northern part of Mississippi, about 2 hours north of Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi is centrally located in the state. Um, what's going on is that we have issue of basically police terrorism is what we're dealing with, and it's state sponsored police terrorism. And in this particular case, one of our own, Commander Mark Lesure, was assaulted by the Senatobia Police Department. His home was unlawfully entered by the Senatobia Police Department, on which an assault pursued, as you all probably saw the video and seen for yourself. Now we're at the legal process right now of dealing with it from a legal perspective. We had our first court appearance just last Friday, where we had a continuance because we're going to try and push some strong. We're going to push back hard with this right here, and the police. Most of us, the ones of us that deal with these type matters should know the police are very layered with protection. They layered with law protection, legal parameters, not lawful parameters, legal parameters that keep you from really delving into it, where these people can be incriminated for the things that they do. So it's very hard for us to peel those layers back legally, and also what's very hard, Sister Ochodi, is being able to find legally skilled Black people that want to engage the process. You know, some of our best attorneys are not willing to engage the process when it comes to dealing with our prison system or our criminal justice system, when it deals with the police. So we feel that we found a strong representative in the state of Mississippi that's willing to take this on. So right now we at the legal point where we dealing with it in the courts, but it's also a grassroots point that we want to deal with, and that deals with more what it is that we do, with the Elmer Geronimo Pratt Gun Club, the Black Liberation Movement, Mississippi on the Move. Are you there, sister?
I'm sorry, my brother. I was just running my mouth. Forgot I wasn't on the screen. But yeah, I wanted to ask: did you get a chance to see the response that Chief Chandler put out after our brother made the announcement that he was going to seek legal counsel?
Yes, I did.
Okay, for I'm going to share that with the listening audience because some of them may not be aware of the fact that the chief of police did respond once they found
Hmm.
out that the brother felt like he was assaulted. And clearly the video says that he was, but I want to go ahead and read the statement that he said, and then we'll play the video of the incident for those of us who had not seen it.
Okay.
Okay, so this was the response from Police Chief Chandler. He's the individual accused of assaulting our brother in his own home. The chief of police said the Senatobia Police Department is aware of several false statements and portrayals of this incident. We are also aware of several threatening statements made towards our officers by individuals and groups. These will be investigated and prosecuted if warranted. We have no further comment at this time, said Chandler. Now, I'm going to say again, Chandler is the individual that's seen on camera assaulting our brother, and he went so far as to say that he's going to be investigating any individuals that are making threats towards them, any individual groups. Now, on a previous live, I did hear that I did hear Mark say that that police chief is familiar with him and knows who he is and what he does in the community. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. And what people need to understand across the nation is that Mississippi is a state composed of a lot of small townships, Senatobia being one of those townships. And within these townships, everybody know everybody. You know, Senatobia has a population of about 7,550 people. So everybody know everybody, and we divided. You know, you had the black community, you had the white community, and Senatobia is predominantly white. It's a predominantly white community by a slim margin. So the politics in Senatobia is reflected in the politics. So it's a white power controlled uh, township. So Chandler know that we're involved in a lot of community activism across the state. So what we do with the Elmer Geronimo Pratt Gun Club, what we do with the Black Liberation Movement, and all the things that we do are very pronounced. So this guy is coming in, and people like myself and Commander Mark, we become what's called bulletin board material. So
Mm.
we are bulletin board material, for these people. And so we have been involved in a lot of de-escalation of police misconduct in Senatobia. And so Chandler is on a mission to quiet us. I think is what's uh, I think we can say that he's on a mission to kind of curtail us and what it is that we do, and we are on a mission, and we're determined to do what it is that we do. So that's what he already know Mark. He already know me. So he's a state sponsored terrorist that has resources to go out and conduct these type of miscarriages of justice.
So in the video, it was said that the young man who they were supposedly looking for went into the house with the green jacket on. Did they ever charge that young man with anything?
No, because that wasn't the young man that they were looking for. That just was the young man that happened to they happened to begin to pursue, that was not fleeing from them. That's a the narrative on that is terribly misconstrued. And I just got through talking to some people today in the black community that still don't have the proper narrative with that. They were looking for somebody that had allegedly shot somebody with a BB gun, air assault rifle, and it was not even this guy. As a matter of fact, the place where they supposed to have been at was a couple blocks over. It was not even that particular street, but it was within that area. So you got 5 or 6 police officers walking around with guns, and you got young black men on the street. Just like I explained to the people today, we have a DNA encoded in us that automatically suggests certain things take place when young black men see police. So when we call them May May, when May May saw these polices, basically, coming in his direction, he was not even running. They said they was in pursuit. When he saw them approaching from a distance, he was basically wondering what was going on. All these police officers walking around here, with weapons. And so as they got closer, he was standing outside of Mark's home. And as the police got closer, he began to wonder, what are y'all doing? Like, what y'all trying to do? So he just began to walk at a fast pace into the home of Mark, who his mother and Mark are in a relationship. Okay. So he began to walk to his safe space, and he began to walk fast. When they asked him, "Hey, stop," he was like, he went on into the house. And so that's where the videos pick up at. That's where our video pick up at the point where Mark, once May May got inside, he said, "These police, they coming their way, they after me." And Mark, like, "What you talking about?" Because Mark is a barber by trade. He was in there and he was cutting hair. And Mark didn't know what was going on, and he was trying to tell him, "These police are coming. They after me." So when Mark opened the door, of course, y'all see the video. That's where he opened the door to, guns drawn, and they looking for somebody with a green jacket who was not even the culprit of the initial police protocol. That was the person that they were looking for. He was not
So,
even that person.
so he did not meet the description of the guy that they were
No,
initially called for. Not at
no,
all.
no. Unless you just want to say white people don't know, I mean, the difference between, just black people. They just, what I'm saying? He was not the person.
Mhm,
When we say meet the description, then we got to basically base that on their description. But I
mhm.
know for a fact he was not the person at all. And they knew that.
The reason why I was asking is because that police officer made it a point to say green jacket, you
Hmm.
know, and so as
Yeah,
if that was the description of the clothing that the individual who actually fired the BB gun. I thought that that's what he was wearing. You know what I mean?
no,
So are they aware that that was Mark's home? Like, do they
of
know that
course.
that
Yes,
Mark
yes.
lived there?
Yes,
Um,
yes. We have had instances where me and Mark had to basically calm situation, like de-escalate situation that they create in that community. As a matter of fact, when I came on the scene to this incident, I was called to say that I need to hurry up and get there. So, well, when I got there, it was already crime scene tape around Mark's home. And the onlookers, the people in the community were telling me, "We glad you're here, we glad you're here." So I'm saying what happened. So I hear all these accounts of what happened, was basically corroborated everybody's who was looking on, their version of what took place. It was a little different, but everybody was basically saying the same thing. But so I beckoned for Chandler, the chief of police, without me even seeing the end of the video, because I didn't see Mark, I didn't see other brothers organized with us, RV. I didn't see him either. So I began to ask about them. They said that Mark was in the police car and RV was also in the police car. So I beckoned for Chandler, who was on the scene. The chief of police was on the scene at the time. I beckoned for him, and I asked him to come because I'm the one that's going to make the public statement on this, and I need your account on what took place. Well, he kind of brushed me off because he already know who I am and who I represent, what I represent. So he kind of brushed me off because he didn't want to show any type of, honoring my request. He wanted to show that he's the alpha dog and that he don't have to honor requests. So I begged for him at least 3 times before he even uh, responded to me to come and talk to me from a distance. And he began to tell me, uh, that this was a crime-ridden community, which it is not. And I told him, I responded to him, I said, no, Chandler. I said, this is an impoverished community of people who love each other. You want to paint the narrative that this is a crime-ridden community to substantiate your injustice. So I'm not going to have court in the street. I'm not asking you to have court in the street. I'm asking you to be transparent and tell me what happened. Because at this point in time, I don't even know that Mark had been assaulted. You know, people were saying that, Mark and the police got into a tussle. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until I actually saw the video, actually having conversation with Mark after they took him away, um, that I actually knew what happened. But it wasn't until I seen the video that I had a visual of what happened. You know what I'm saying? So, which made it all clear. But what the point that I'm trying to make is that it's been issues in this community that they are trying to label crime-ridden communities to substantiate their overfunded budget, where they utilizing 40% of this town's budget, which is a ridiculous amount of money. Where crime is not even being committed at a rate to substantiate that type of spending of a budget. It's not even happening like that. So they basically creating these narratives as they did with their video, with their version of the video.
Okay, so let's go ahead and play that video for the listening audience.
Which one are you gonna play? Which one?
The one that the one that you played on Vaughn.
Okay.
Vaughn TV. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Gun. So you know how we. Now all you gotta do is talk to us. Get your hand off your motherfucking gun.
And then this man said he got his hands on his gun.
No,
What y'all finna
like
shoot
this
shit?
shit. Calm down, dog.
Everybody that comes over here and runs in the house.
Ain't nobody.
What What's going? This is my house, dog.
Why you doing that for, man?
Put your gun down.
You one of the cool ones, man. Why you doing that?
Mark,
Put y'all
listen
guns
to me
down,
2
man.
seconds. 2
Tell
seconds.
me what's going on.
Where's Green Jacket? I know we ran in there. Don't play games.
Hey, what is a green jacket? Wasn't happening.
Green Jacket, white pants. Tell them to come out here. We'll put them up.
Hey, bring your ass out here. What the hell going on?
Come here. Come here. We can see what's going on.
Come see what's going on. See what they want with you.
We gonna see what's going on. Ain't gonna do that crazy shit. Now see
He's
what
a
he
child,
want.
man. Y'all put these guns down, man.
He's a child. Don't come here.
Goddamn child.
No, don't
Wait,
go
wait,
back
no,
in.
no, no.
What you got going on? Come back in here.
Hold on.
He's a child.
Hey, he's a child. He's a child.
Trying to help you out.
Put your gun down. Calm the fuck down. Put your gun down. He's a goddamn gun down, man.
Come out of the house.
Now what can
What?
you do?
Hey, man, you ain't supposed to go in there, man. Hold up, man.
Hey, come up out of my house, bro. Come on out of my house. Hey, man.
Hey, man.
Back up.
Hey, man. Hey, man, what y'all got going on, man? What y'all doing? What y'all got? That's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. That's messed up. That's messed up, man. That's messed up, man. That's messed up, man.
Go.
Okay, so brother, who's the gentleman that's on the ground outside?
That's the RV. That's
why
the
was
other
he,
brother.
why was he told to get on the ground like that?
Well, basically, at that point, they was telling anybody that seemed to pose some type of resistance to them doing what they were doing, they was putting them on the ground.
Okay, so once the young man came out, the one who had on the light green jacket, once he came out,
You didn't see a green jacket?
no, it wasn't.
that-
it
that-
wasn't
that
like
was-
it wasn't.
No. Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying, Choti. He wasn't even wearing a green jacket. Okay. And I had to go back and look at that as well. And if we go back and look at the video, we'll see that he wasn't even wearing a green jacket. And that begins to explain to people how wrong these people can be and still implement this type of terror on people, how they can misconstrue and create lies to substantiate this overuse of force that they're utilizing. Play the video back because I didn't see a green jacket.
Okay, so I'm playing the video now without the sound. Okay.
Okay,
And I heard that this police officer here called you by name.
of course.
Call Mark by name.
Yes, that's Perret. That's Officer Perret. Yeah. So, like I said, it's a close knit community. This guy right here, live right in the community in a community here. The officer on the side of the house that's pointing the gun, that's calling Mark by name.
So they are very familiar with each other.
Of course, all those officers that you
Yeah.
see know exactly where they at. You know, and this type of force. Look how they walking down with the guns. Look how they stalking. You know, just look at that.
All right, right there. That's the
Okay.
guy with so-called green jacket that looks like a sweatshirt hoodie. Is it like
Yeah.
teal green or something like that? Or it's not green
I
at all?
don't know. I'm thinking it's great. I done seen Main wear that before, and I'm thinking it's great. You know, so when you're talking about green, if that's green, then it's a light green. You know what I'm saying? So it's not
Right.
even distinguishable to be calling it a green jacket. You know, I done seen him wear these hoodies before, and I'm thinking that's a great hoodie that he got on. You
I'm
know,
trying to understand, brother, what's going on here because they wanted Green Jacket to come out. So you say man,
yeah, right.
he comes out. So why does they have to go into the home? Like, what explanation did they give for going into a home without a warrant?
Exactly. So again, we exacerbating the situation. I mean, now we showing how ridiculous these people can be. So what I'm understanding that they are saying, you know, now because it's some pushback. Usually they don't get any pushback, Sister Chosen. They don't get any pushback. They just do what they want to do and they terrorize the way they want to terrorize. Now that they have pushback, they have a video out here that's incriminating them. Now they're trying to substantiate all these things that they're doing. So they said that they were in the house because they smell weed. Okay.
Mm.
Now that guy right there, that he going into that house to clear that house. He want to go into Mark's house anyway. Okay. Now, actually, the guy that he was going to pursue, the guy that you seen walking down the hallway that Chandler was going in behind, that guy was going to retrieve a young man, a 10-year-old that's in that house right now. All this activity is going on right now. It's a 10-year-old back there. You see him coming back.
Yeah.
Right
Yes,
there.
I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That 10-year-old, we don't know what kind of trauma that 10-year-old has suffered to see that. You know, they didn't take any kind of protocol, you know, to make sure that house was clear. You know, and first of all, you shouldn't even be in the house. It's an unlawful entry. You had no reason to be in the house. You asked for somebody to come out the house that you weren't even pursuing to start with. You come with all this deadly force that's absolutely unnecessary and asking for somebody to come out of the house that you wouldn't even pursue. You're not even sure if this the person. And I would say that they knew it wasn't the person, but they knew it was somebody connected to Mark's home who they wanted to have an encounter with anyway. You know? Okay, so they pursued Main, and Main like, I ain't do nothing. Like, but I see these police coming at me, I come into the house. Well, I'm safe at, and I can tell, you know, my elders like what's going on. And so Mark don't know nothing about, you know, this until he opened the door to see all of this going on. And so once they tell May to come on out here, let's see what's going on, then you see them take May. But at that time, the chief of police have a whole nother agenda. I mean, we got to understand that. The chief of police got a whole nother agenda. Your officers are asking for them to release somebody who was released. Why are you going into the house? You see?
Okay, so the information that they said, I read in the article where they said that they went into the house because they weren't quite sure if the gentleman that they were pursuing had left evidence of the crime that they were in pursuit of, right? So they was trying to make sure that they were protecting the so-called evidence. That's the explanation that they gave for entering the home. But even so, it doesn't jive with the subsequent explanation as far as the marijuana smell. So I guess you smelled it from the street. Is that what he's saying? He smelled it from the street, or was he going in there to secure some evidence?
First of all, I'm not going to try to justify nothing Chandler said, okay? Because I know that Chandler is basically trying to justify. See, they never knew we had this video, period. Okay? If we did not have this video, then everybody would carry their narrative. Okay? Just like I'm being questioned now, what did Chandler mean? To me, Chandler is a liar. He's a terrorist. Okay? So I'm not going to try and justify nothing Chandler said. Everything that happened after Chandler unlawfully entered Mark's home is nothing but a lie. We see what happened. You see the video from the time that he walked into the home, and his goons, who had the person that they were looking for in that they asked for. This wasn't the person that they were looking for initially. I don't want to give them no. I don't want to paint them in no light as being right. We gave them the person that they were looking for so that they could see that this ain't the person you're looking for. Apparently, this man ain't did nothing. Chandler enters the home. Chandler, what's your business entering the home? These guys are looking for this guy. You done got him. You done went into my home. So after you enter the home, what is the point of you being in the home? So anything that happens after that to exonerate them from their actions that we clearly saw on that video, that they selectively decide to remove from their video, I'm not trying to justify that. I'm not trying to justify that. Chandler had no business in the home, period. Smelling
so are you
weed,
saying that there's a different? Are you saying that there's a different version of this video out that the police put out? Is that what you're saying? Oh wow, we lost our brother. Hopefully we can get him back in. Hopefully he can get back in. But I'll go ahead and play the video again. Turn the volume on so you guys can see while he's trying to get back in here.
Green jacket, white pants.
Let's see.
Come out here.
That's what we at.
Let's see.
What the hell you doing that for?
What's going? This is my house, dog.
Why you doing that for, man?
Put your gun down.
You one of the cool ones, man. Why you doing that?
Mark,
Put y'all
listen
guns
to me
down,
2
man.
seconds. 2
Tell
seconds.
me what's going on.
Where's green jacket? I know he ran in there. Don't play games.
Man, hey, what is a green jacket? Wasn't happening.
Green jacket, white pants. Tell them to come out here. We'll put them up.
Hey, bring your ass out here. What the hell going on?
Come here. Come here. We can see what's going on.
Come see what's going on. See what they want with you.
We gonna see what's going on. Ain't
Shit.
do that crazy shit. Now see what he
Child,
want.
man. Y'all put these guns down, man.
He's a child. Don't do
Goddamn
it.
child.
No, don't.
Wait. No.
What you got
He's a
going on?
child.
Come back in here.
Hold on.
He's a child.
Hey, he's a child. He's a child.
How the hell do that?
Put your gun down.
Calm the fuck down.
Put your
That's a
gun
child.
down.
That's a
Goddamn child. Shoot them goddamn guns down, man.
For those of y'all who joining us for watching the video of the police encounter, that's Mark Lesure and the pastor and the gentleman in the khaki pants. That's the chief of police that you just witnessed assault Mark Lesure in his own home. Hopefully, our brother Patrick will be able to come back in. Excuse me.
That's messed up, man.
But
That's
Brother
messed
Patrick
up,
brought
man.
up a very important point.
That's messed up, man.
They were trying to clear the home.
Bun, can I say something before we
Yes, sir.
say
Yes.
something? Listen, man.
Excuse me, got a tickle in my throat. So they were so-called trying to clear the home. So here's Patrick coming back in. Great.
Okay, can you see and hear me?
Yes, I can see and hear you now. Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened just then.
That's okay. But you were explaining how Chandler knew exactly who Mark was and how he entered into the home. So you were saying you weren't trying to give them no kind of pass on their activity?
No, I'm not. You know, because I know how powerful media is. You know, it's kind of like Malcolm X said. Well, it's not kind of like Malcolm said. It's exactly like Malcolm said, that the media has the ability to paint the victim, you know, the culprit, and the culprit the victim. You know, and at this point, you know, you see him right there. That's a nice picture. You see him giving him an award. You know, they reward this type of terrorism. You know, and for all corroborated for all intended purposes, this guy basically had the whole Senatobia administration afraid of him. You know, the mayor and the board of aldermen and the people who were responsible for him hiring him, you know, afraid of him. They giving him awards, you know, after he committed this act of terrorism. He was given a raise. They got a pay raise. You know what I'm saying? So we talking about total abuse of power here. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to, you know, injustice against black people, you know, here in this town. You know what I'm saying? We talking this the same racist police. I don't know whether you caught the story, but it's the same racist police that made the call to arrest a 10-year-old for public urination. You know? So we dealing with a systemic situation here.
Yeah. And so, yes, I am familiar with that. I am familiar with that story about the 10-year-old that was arrested and sent to jail as well. You mentioned, you mentioned something earlier about Senatobia not being a crime-ridden city, right? As the police chief wanted all of us
Right.
to believe. So I went and I did the police scorecard, and in Senatobia, their scorecard is 40. And the reason why their scorecard is 40 is because you can see here that they did not complete any of the survey that would give them a grade. So when we're talking about when we're talking about excessive use of force, we have no idea of how they're ranking because they haven't submitted any statistics for these individuals to rank them, right? And so same thing with discrimination complaints. There are no complaints on record that they could go to try to give them a rating. And so you can see here, all of this is incomplete, and that's why they have a score of 40. So obviously something is going on in that community or with that police department that they're trying to hide. So would you consider, when the police say that this is a crime-ridden city, what types of crimes typically take place in Senatobia? Are they violent crimes? Are they petty theft crimes? What type of crimes are you dealing with?
Listen. I'm telling you. I was raised here. You know, I graduated high school here. I attended junior college here in this town, and through all that experience and being in Senatobia, I will not say at all that this is a city that's plagued with crime. Okay, this is not a city that's plagued with crime. Okay, this is a city that has a substantial black population that probably a little less than half of those black people probably live below the poverty line. Okay, but that don't make them criminals. You see what I'm saying? Now you may have something that happened here, you know, where somebody might broke into the liquor store or something, you know, every now and then. You don't have murder here. You don't have robbing here. You don't have rape, the major crime that we consider crime. You don't have that here. Like I told Chandler to his face, and he know this. You know, I told him to point to the crime that you're talking about. And if you'll notice in that video, Mark has a bus parked beside his house. He has a bus that was parked beside his house that actually is a food truck. And we worked extensively to turn that into a food truck because Mark is a health food enthusiast. Mark is basically vegan. So he used that bus to serve health food from. And when I asked Chandler to point to the crime, they have been trying to remove that bus from Mark's yard. It's not just a junk bus that's sitting around like they want to have people think or have the city to think. It's you wanting to destroy Mark's business of health food enthusiasts, you know, health food chef in the community. So when I asked him to point to the crime that you're talking about, because this is an impoverished community of people who love each other, but it ain't no crime-ridden community, Chandler. He started to point at Mark's bus being parked in the yard and people's cars being parked in their yards. I told him, I said, those are not crime. Those are violations against city ordinances that been put in place, but those are not crimes, man. You don't have a reason to come over here pointing your guns. You have no reason. Look at all that force that they use. Imagine a man just opening his door to that. Are you even opening your door to that? And we know these people. That's why you hear the language so strong when Mark said, put your motherfucking guns away. We know who we talking to. Perret, I can say the same way he said Mark's name. Mark could have said, hey, Perret, put your gun down, man. What you doing? But see, and that's the thing people need to see. You know, when we get these people narrative and these people start to say things and they have been endowed with this power and then they back with taxpaying money, because like I said, this town is almost 50% black. So a lot of the tax money that's going into the 40% budget, funded budget of the police is paid by black people. So just in a community meeting that we just had, Sister Ochota, I was telling black people, I'm gonna be critical with this. The tasers that tase Mark, we pay half on that. We got half on that. Okay. The court system that's taking us, that they taking us through, we got half on that. You know, look at the force that this man uses. He's not looking at those children coming out there, don't know what the hell going on. That's Kenzaki Jones, my cousin, that was sitting there. He's a school teacher going back there to get a young 10-year-old black boy that don't know what's going on. And now his barber is engaged in a whole fight with the police department. Black people need to wake up. And it ain't just in Mississippi that we got to wake up. We got to wake up, period. Because we are in minimal security just living. You don't have to be in a prison. You're in minimal security just in your home, unless you controlling these jurisdictions. And that's what we trying to do. We trying to get black people to understand we need our own safe spaces. And Mississippi offer up a lot of safe spaces that we are undesirable of. You know, we got the Indianola, Mississippis. We got the Holly Springs, Mississippi. These are black spaces that black people are running away from, and we need them to run to and engage in civic development and developing our own police forces, you know, our own judicial systems, just like what they trying to do down in Jackson with our brother Chuck Wade, son Antar Lumumba. They trying to set up a whole different court system. You know, I looked on your page and I seen that you have had some discussion with Malik Zulu Shabazz. And Malik Zulu Shabazz is very familiar with the work that we're doing here. You know, I have dealt with, and I do deal with Malik, you know, in situations in bringing justice. You know, and here in Mississippi, you know, we have probably the strongest form of this white racism. You know, historically, probably the strongest, most overt form of this. So we fight back, you know, and so this is what you're looking at. You're looking at a police department that's empowered. They know who they dealing with, and they trying to show everybody that we're gonna curtail these guys, you know, and you know, you other people that's trying to, you know, probably listening to them, you know, this is what is gonna happen, and we just not gonna have it, and we gonna fight.
So that brings me to my next question. What prompted you to go ahead and put out that public service announcement that I seen on Facebook? Was it the lack of accountability that they showed towards the incident, warning the people about, you know, you posted, I'm trying to pull up that post where you posted about it was like a public service announcement, actually.
Yeah.
Warning people of Senatobia, and also you had a message for the police department as well. So what prompted you to go ahead and post that to Facebook?
Just waking up every morning dealing with the gravity, you know, what we dealing with. You know, I'm constantly in the face of the black community. You know, we got a strong problem in Mississippi, but not only in Mississippi, across the nation. When I look at it, we got a strong problem with capitulated black leadership. You know, our leaders are not strong enough. You know, in this situation and in situations abroad, we got to have stronger leadership. When I say that from the pulpit to City Hall and everything in between. We got to have stronger, identifiable black leadership. We losing our humanity. We don't have a political representation of Black humanity. We don't have an economic representation of Black humanity. We don't have an educational representation of Black humanity. We got to get that going. You know, so in that post, you hearing frustration, you hearing a petition to Black people, you know, to galvanize and come together and have some courage. Because that's what I think we missing. I think we some of the smartest people on the planet, the most intelligent people on the planet, but we don't have no goddamn courage. You know, and that's what I'm seeing as I traverse this state, traverse this nation. We got to have some leaders that got some courage. You know, and I even asked the white people, you know, who I'm not concerned with, you know, because it's not going to factor one way or another, you know, for our well-being or situation, what they think, because they haven't proved that they're going to do anything against those of them who have power. As a matter of fact, right out there on that scene, I had a conversation with Perret and the officer Perret, and I called him to the side, and he know me. And he said, man, everything you talk about is racial. I said, everything is racial. And in my understanding, the critical understanding, this is a racial incident right here. And I don't see nothing that y'all do in the Black community that's not racial. Okay? So he began to explain to me, you know, that he's not racist. I said, well, you don't have no power. Now, if you was over here making the decisions, then we could talk. But you here responding to a decision being made by a racist. So I don't know what you are. You know, I'm not here to have no reconciliation conversation with you when my brother's laying down on the ground because of this power that these people are abusing. When my brother's going to jail, my brother got a bond out at $17,000 bond, and he didn't assault nobody. He wouldn't resist no arrest. And y'all able to tell these audacious lies, and they be upheld legally. Legal don't mean lawful. Black people need to understand that. Legal don't mean lawful. Slavery was legal. So we got to get our thing together, you know. So that what you seen in that post, Sister Chody, was me waking up every day since December 7th, which is when this incident happened to our brother, and trying to figure out how to get our people to do more than just talk about this. You know, I got you see my daughter left out of here, you know what I'm saying? She's just 4 years old, you know, and I got to think about I'm quite a bit older than she is. You know, my youngest child prior to her is 26 years old. You know what I'm saying? So she just happened, you know, and I like to think that the universe gave her to me, you know, to put in perspective what it is that I've been doing for 25 years, which is fighting for Black liberation. You know, so now I got to provide a future for her, and I don't want to leave here knowing that white men can come through the threshold of your home and do whatever they want to do. That's what we're looking at. And here we is straining, trying to be articulate, trying to complicate the issue. It is what it is. He walked into a man's home that he should not have been in and was able to call other white people to get a warrant, an illegal warrant, to substantiate his injustice and his mischief and his misconduct. That's what we're dealing with. And until we build layers of power to protect Black humanity, we're going to keep on dealing with it.
And it just surprised me that no one is standing up for, I'm talking about as far as like city council members, aldermen, or whatever it is that you have in Senatobia. No one is standing up on Mr. Lesure's side. It is obvious. Anyone can see that the chief of police assaulted this man. Like, even if, let's just say it wasn't even in his house. Dude, he just walked up to him and grabbed him by the neck. Is that not assault? Like, and then, like I said, I had a hard time even finding a picture of this guy. Like, really, like I had to search for a picture of the chief of police. And then he puts out this statement that's almost a threat to say that if you guys keep on talking about his assault upon Mark Lesure, that he's going to start investigating you all. So my question to you, my brother, is who's investigating him? Because just like our follower in the chat, Willie Williams said, now is the time to let the feds do their job, contact the Department of Justice. So is Mr. Lesure having any thoughts on going that route, pursuing that route, going straight to the Department of Justice? Because it seems like the DA and the prosecuting attorneys, they're not going to press charges against the chief of police.
Yeah, listen, we have dealt with the DOJ. You know what I'm saying? The DOJ basically come to Mississippi and ask white folk questions about why did they do certain things. And then white people tell them basically, well, because we can. And then they just hightail it on back to Washington, D.C. That's what basically happened. This ain't the first incident, that has happened. So, we have gotten to a point, Sister Chody, in all my experience in dealing, with what I consider an extreme level of liberation. We have gotten to a point as a people of rugged individualism. We don't have a cohesive, collective mentality about ourselves as black people and having a humanity as black people. When these things happen to us, when I'm talking to people, I'm hearing people speak from an individual perspective. We were the ones out there on the forefront with young Quintavious Easton. I know Quintavious Easton's mom real well. We friends, and I'm talking about the young 10-year-old. When I began, that was arrested and put in a police car and put into a jail cell for peeing on the ground outside. Okay, when I went to black leadership, preachers, some of our black politicians, they began to craft reasons to avoid engaging the situation. You know what I'm saying? And that's a frustration there. You can't fight a situation if people are afraid. And when you got your leaders afraid to engage these type of dehumanizing things, it becomes terribly frustrating. And we got to get to a point where we at least care about our humanity again. John Henry Clark, he said that history is a set of circumstances and events that's going to continue to happen the way that they happen until you decide to change them. So nothing's going to change. And like Fannie Lou Hamer said, you can pray till you faint, but you're going to have to get up and you're going to have to do something. And I'm finding more and more that we have, we don't have a willingness to engage our situation as a collective.
Well, brother, you just said a mouthful, and you are absolutely correct. We keep saying over and over and over again that we need to come together. We need to come together. When are we going to come together? Because it seems like when I say they, I mean the race soldiers, bad actors in law enforcement, they seem like they have their marching orders. And it seems like their marching orders is to deny us any type of rights in regards to being a citizen. So to me, it's like we have to operate under that auspice that, we really don't have no rights. So if we understand that, how are we going to come together to protect ourselves? Because even though law enforcement is supposed to be here to protect and serve, it seems like they're not protecting us, and they damn sure don't want to serve us.
Right.
So with that being said, how can we out here, in the listening audience, how can we help Mr. Lesure? Does he have a GoFundMe or a Cash App that we could drop some dummies on to help him?
We have a Cash App that we are using. We've been using for a while. And people who support us across the nation. It's $BLMMS. That's Black Liberation Movement Mississippi. That's $BLMMS. And that helps us with the legal fees that we have to occur, in dealing with, the situation from a legal standpoint. I mean, for real, until you start to try and navigate this court system and really see how layered and protected this level of state-sponsored terrorism is. I mean, we've been dealing with a lot of situations here in Mississippi. The Jaheim McMillan situation down in Gulfport, Mississippi, where Officer Nassar shot him point blank in the head in front of the dollar store down there in Gulfport, Mississippi. We've been active, Elmer Drummond, Pratt Black Liberation Movement, been active ever since. And his mother, Katrina Mateen, we stay in contact with her. But these people are protected by qualified immunity. And it seems like when these officers kill black people, that they get rewarded and promoted. These people are getting promoted after they kill black people. So what is that saying? We dealing with the situation with Rasheem Carter. the young brother down in Taylorsville, Mississippi. That body was cut all up. You know what I'm saying? And we have to respond to these things with no funds. You know, we got Nick Bezel, our national founder and commander, out of Austin, Texas, right there. You know, that's where we headquartered out of. You know, they have to come all the way to Mississippi and other places to respond to these issues. You know what I'm saying? So we are grossly underfunded, you know, when it comes to fighting. We don't have too many legal people because, you know, our people like Ben Crump, they only taking the slam dunks. You know, they only taking the cases that are slam dunk cases. They not taking the cases that you're gonna have to peel the layers of white supremacy back, you know, to try and you're gonna have to litigate. They're gonna be the long protracted fights. They not taking those. You know, they taking the Tyree Nichols, you know, situations and things like that, the slam dunks. But where these white people are protected by qualified immunity and all these different things, you know, we don't have legal people that's willing to fight for the humanity of black people. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I see it. I see it like us fighting for our humanity and identifying with our blackness and stating to the world that, you know, we gonna be a people that's gonna be respected. And, you know, and even Mark, and I speak for Mark right now. Mark not looking for a lawsuit. Mark not looking for $7, $8, $9, $10 million. You know, we done got to a point now we think that's the answer to the problem. That ain't the answer to the problem. You know, Mark want Chandler to go to jail. He want Chandler to be punished. You understand what I'm saying? We done got to a point we don't even know what justice is no more. We think justice is giving us our own money. When you sue these people and you do get some money behind this stuff, it's taxpayer money. It don't stop Chandler from eating one day.
Right.
When you sue for this money. You understand? People need to understand that. And anybody that's listening, they need to understand that. At some point, we gotta look for justice, like Neely Fuller Jr. has taught us in the compensatory codes. He taught us we gotta set up a system of justice. We operate on a system of injustice so grotesquely till we think it's normal. And it's not. You know, and I don't want that little girl that just left out of here to go up in a world where her blackness is vilified. And she, you know, I need her to have some power and some control, you know, over her life. So, you know, that's why we fight, Sister Cho.
And I'm so glad that you said that, because most times people say, well, oh, they won the civil suit, and then the cops that's involved in these crimes, they get little time or no time. They're acquitted, fully acquitted. But then they want us to be satisfied with the family just receiving a civil suit. So I am definitely with you. I believe, like, yeah, Chief Chandler should go to jail, but I'm thinking, who's going to press charges? Who's going to arrest him? Right?
Mm-hmm.
We definitely need somebody from the outside to come in. And I know you said you've been the Department of Justice route, but here it is. We have a video that clearly shows he's assaulting the gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't in a threatening posture or anything, and he just clearly assaulted the gentleman, Mr. Mark, our brother. So clearly, you can see that was a clear case of assault. So I don't think it should be like, oh, it's kind of murky, we can't prove it. Well, we have video evidence. Like, what are we doing?
Then you have Chandler, you know, in those statements, confidently saying that he's gonna come after us. Like we slandering him. You understand what I'm saying? Black people need to really see the audaciousness of this power. You know, I'm not you know, a religious guy at all, but I do study religion. And you know, it's a thing in the Bible where it's stated that they have become drunk with their own power. Mm-hmm. You see? And these people are drunk with their own power. They don't have no respect for black people. That's what I'm trying to point out. The criticalness of it. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to, you know, sit here and pontificate and be overly articulate about it. You've seen the video. The man came in with brute force, with no regard for black life. You know, and I have a barber. You know, I don't use the word mentor. I have a barber. You know, a teacher, a father by the name of Shabaka Afrika, and he told me some years ago. He said, you know what, Brother Patrick? He said that black people are going to be discriminated against. We're going to be marginalized and even killed until we develop the moral character to stand up for our own humanity. He also told me, he asked me a question. He said, do you know, during the transatlantic slave trade, he said, do you not know the average age of the slave that was bought into bondage? He said the average slave was 14 years old. Okay. And he said, how did that relate to us today? How did that relate? And he began to explain to me, and it makes all the sense in the world. He said that we were arrested at that developmental stage at 14 years old. So we grown black people, but we not mature black people. We don't want to run our own governments. We don't want to run our own towns. We want to be first-class citizens. We want to ask white people for permission. We want a degree. We want white people to pat us on the back and say, you approved by us. You know, so no, the police not going to police the police. You know, nobody coming to arrest Chandler until we decide that we're going to have humanity. And so I'm here in the heart of racism. I'm here in the heart of racism, Mississippi. But I'm also here in the heart of black people. Professor James Small, who you know, he's also a barber of mine. And he come to Mississippi at our summit. Every year we have a summit, Sister Chody, and I'd like to invite you to the next one. You would enjoy it in Jackson, Mississippi next year in September. Where we invite people from across the nation to come to the Black Power Summit that we have every year. And every year we have a special guest. And Baba James Small was our guest in 2018. And he came and he taught a powerful lesson about the state of Mississippi. At one particular time, the state of Mississippi actually had more black people in it than white. And that was due to the circumstances of the economics, where we were funneled in here at numbers so great because white people were trying to economically incentivize themselves, you know, with the cotton production. So we had black African people here in a concentration like no other state in the United States. And even today, Mississippi, ratio to proportion, is the blackest state in the United States still now. So you have a deprived economically deprived black person, but you have a very, very experienced black person. You know, as I go all over the nation and I talk, you know, I represent Mississippi. And I tell people that, you know, we have the blackest people. I'm talking about not just on skin, I'm talking about in our soul. You know, it's not about our education. It's about, you know, our resilience. You know, it's that inherent knowledge that we got from grandmama now. You know, how to deal with these white people. You know, it's not just a bent over black person in Mississippi that capitulate to white racism. It's also a black person in Mississippi that stands up. You know, and those are the ones that you don't hear about. Those are the ones that I resonate, you know, right now. I know who my great-great-grandfather was. You know, I know who my great-great-grandmama was, you know, and I hear stories about them, you know, and what they had to fight against. So we have to tap back into that, you know, and Mississippi is my home. And Professor James Small just said that Mississippi was the Africa of the Western Hemisphere. And I really like that. And I take that, you know, wherever I go, because I can see that. You know, I can really see that. It's something that don't get put out there, but, you know, I can really see and understand where the Bible was coming from. And so I ain't going nowhere. You know, it's a fight. And it seems like all the odds are against us, but, you know, it's a fight that I'm going to engage until my last breath.
Well, brother, I do appreciate your strength and your tenacity to hang in there with us, because we need more strong brothers such as yourself to understand and overstand what the problem really is. It's not that we're so poor we're poor and we're criminals. Is that we're poor, but then we're looked at as non-citizens. I think that's the crust of the matter. So if we can't be citizens here, perhaps we should try to, like you say, come together, organize, and develop our own court system, our own legal system, our own nationhood, fully governing and with the support of the people. So it seems like that would be the best route to take, because they're systematically taking away all of our other avenues. Community policing is now being challenged right now with the congressional bill that's making its way to the floor to be voted on with the support of both Republicans and Democrats. They want to definitely take away your ability to community police yourself as well as your ability to stand your ground and show self-defense in the face of a tyrannical government. So yeah, that's what we have on the menu, folks. If everybody out there listening to me, we do have to come together and decide how we want to be governed and who we want to be governed by, and decide, like the brother said, we're missing our leaders. Our leaders are missing in action. So you have to lead yourself. Take along, you and your family, come along and join the Black Power movement, because guess what? We all we have, and nobody else is coming to save us. So we have to save each other, save ourselves. So my brother, I don't want to hold you too much longer. I know that you probably have some other things to attend to, but I do want to say thank you so much for giving us clarity on this. When I read the threat from the chief of police, I knew exactly that he was targeting Elmore Geronimo Pratt Gun Club. And I just want to tell you, don't be, of
Well,
course I
he
know,
know
don't be
he know we
afraid.
ain't going nowhere. If he did
Yeah.
his due diligence, he know we not going nowhere. So we just organizing to the point where we're gonna be able to step to him. So ain't nobody going nowhere.
Right. So yeah, just keep in touch. Let us know. I will keep my ear to the ground to find out latest developments. Hit me up, DM. Let me know that he has secured. You said he did secure counsel, right?
Yes.
And so he's going to be filing probably a civil suit on that end.
Yeah, that's on down the line.
Yeah, and I wouldn't hesitate to just drop by the DOJ again, revisit the DOJ with that video, because maybe this time they'll say they can't have no excuse to say, well,
Yeah.
there's no there,
So,
but it's all there, right?
yeah. So what we doing, we actually compiling instances where this man had did this. We compiling people, kind of like in a class action type deal.
Oh,
And we about to
beautiful.
get with some people like the ACLU and all that, because this is just the legal side of it, Sister Chody. We got 9 areas of people of battle, that we got to deal. We got to deal with these people on on all levels. You know what I'm saying? So we getting our legal thing together. And first thing we want to do is make sure that Mark don't go to prison about these erroneous charges. That's the first thing that we got to do. We got to make sure that these charges go away. You know what I'm saying? Because these people have power to lie. And as we clearly see, Mark was charged with resisting arrest. Where did he resist arrest at? Mark was charged with assaulting police officers. Where in the hell did he assault a police officer? So when they can be that audaciously wrong, but at the same time have you across the barrel, and if we didn't have that video, then what would we have? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So first thing is making sure our brother don't go to prison because somebody got power and can lie and send him to prison for that. So that's what we concentrating on right now. These charges go away, and we gonna start, doing what it is that we need to do, to establish justice.
And so we all know, everyone knows that the chief of police is, I guess, selected by the mayor or
The
something
board of
like
aldermen,
that.
right?
But they're not elected, correct? They're not elected officials.
No, the chief of police is appointed by the board and hired by the board.
And when you say board, that's like a city council, correct?
That's the city council, right?
Okay, roger that. So yeah, so definitely members of Senatobia city, y'all need to be up in the city hall or whatever, definitely saying that this guy needs to resign. He needs to resign, and so he could be held accountable for his actions. And it seems like to me, Senatobia Police Department is gone rogue. A lot of bad actors. It's not just a few, but I did see like there's some of us that's on that police department. So it's just baffling to me how we can still be in a position where we have to work with these type of people, knowing that your boss just assaulted my brother is disturbing. I don't think I could do my job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So that's what we're dealing with.
So I appreciate you. One last word, my brother, that you want to share with the listening audience.
No, I would just conclude. All across this nation. I got people coming in, activists coming in to Mississippi because the work that we've been doing and putting in, and not running from this fight. Mississippi is a very, very critical place place. You know, it's something that got to be proven right here in Mississippi. Some of you or your listener may know of the great white writer by the name of Richard Faulkner that writes here from Mississippi. He wrote something about Mississippi that I think is very interesting. He said, if you want to understand how the world works, first understand how Mississippi works. Now, to me, that's saying a lot. You know, I watched these white people since I began to study the system of white supremacy, and I watched things all the way from the point of Emmett Till. How and we worked with the case with Emmett Till, along with Malik Shabazz and others from across the nation when the warrant was revealed that had never been exacted on Carolyn Bryant Dunham. And we actually worked to get that warrant executed, and we couldn't get that done because of layers that protect white humanity. But what I'm simply saying is that if we can break the back of the overt racism here, not begging white people, but organizing black people. Kwame Ture said when he came to Mississippi, he said 3 things that black people must do. He said number 1 is organize. He said number 2 is organize. And he said number 3 is organize. So we working to organize black people to a point where we can establish our own system of justice right here in America. And you said something very critical, because that's happening in Jackson, Mississippi. And that's why Jackson, Mississippi is under such attack. It's a civil war taking place in Jackson, Mississippi right now with the state and Jackson, Mississippi, because they want that capital. But that capital is populated with 80% black people. So we actually have jurisdictions that we actually control. We got to get black people across the nation to understand it, that we can actually ascertain state power in Mississippi, and state power preempts any municipality power. So we can actually obtain state power here in Mississippi. So it's something that people across the nation, when I'm on these national shows and they asking me about Jackson, Mississippi, I said, don't ask me about Jackson, Mississippi like it's just black people in Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi. This is actually a major city that we control as black folks, and it's under attack. That water, that problem down there in Jackson ain't there just because black folks don't know how to run a government. It's there because it's not federally funded. Jackson is under environmental attack. It's under a federal attack because it's controlled by black people. White people want Jackson, Mississippi back. It's symbolic to them. But Jackson, Mississippi is ours, and it should stay ours. And it's yours. It's people. That's the way we should look at that. So we actually control spaces that they trying to take. So, just in closing, I'm just saying that black people across the nation, we need to begin to organize and identify with our blackness, wherever we stand, and support each other and love each other.
Okay, so in other words, what I'm hearing from you is that we can safely say that you support Brother Ramsey Yunus's effort, and also Afro-descendant nations' effort, along with Malik Zulu Shabazz, that effort to get reparations and for us to exercise our right to self-determination. You are familiar with that movement, right?
That's right.
Okay, so I'm glad that we have a gun club on board. Check down, we could check you guys off that list. So again, my brother, I applaud you for the efforts that you're doing, waking our people up. I want to invite you to Concerned Voices podcast. That's a podcast that Brother Major and I have started, that's going to go out not just on this YouTube platforms, not just on Facebook, but we're getting on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all of those other podcasting avenues. So we definitely want to work with you and get you back on to bring us more updates on our brother's story and any other movements that's going on in Jackson, Mississippi, because Jackson, Mississippi may be that model city or that model state that we all can take some lessons learned from, because
yeah,
you know,
like I always say, Sister Chody, Mississippi don't have to be your place, but it can be your base. You can invest in Mississippi. We got a lot of land around here. We do a lot of things with agriculture around here. You know what I'm saying? We do a lot of things. So there's a lot of potential here for people in general. So we talk more about that.
Darn it. He was getting to the good part. just cut out on me. But yes, Jackson, Mississippi is a place where our brother Ramsey units went down to just last year and began to put in place what we call the Republic of Jackson, Mississippi. This is where individuals that live in Jackson, Mississippi take control of their own government, the city council and the police department and things of that nature. However, it was a mad dash to suppress this brother in his efforts. And unfortunately, because the individuals in Jackson, Mississippi are so impoverished, some of them couldn't even afford to get to the location where they were having the rally. So I am so looking forward for the safe return of our brother Ramsey. And perhaps, once he sees, I'm going to send this to him. Once he sees this, maybe he'll come back to Jackson, Mississippi and continue to pick up where he left off with helping our people there in Jackson, Mississippi. Since we have been verified again from our brother that we are close to the majority in that state. That's a state that you definitely can take control of. We just have to have the right individuals to step up to the plate, to be the leaders, to bring forth their individual talents to help us achieve true self-determination. And then the reparations, we'll get that automatically once we're in control. So again, I want you guys to pay attention to this story, the story of Mark Lesure. He was assaulted by Senatobia Police Chief of Police, and he has not admitted to it or acknowledged it. As a matter of fact, he in turn sent out a threat to the Elmore Geronimo Pratt Gun Club, stating that, we're aware of these allegations and threats against the police department, which I don't think they threatened him at all. But he said, and he's threatening them with investigation. So let's keep our eye on this story pertaining to our brother, and make sure that that you spread this video and let everyone know about this, because the mass media is definitely trying to keep this under wraps. Like I said, I had a hard time finding a picture of the police chief. And also, I had a hard time, they're not really saying Mark Lesure's name, right? So they want to keep this under wraps. They don't want this to gain traction, but it's up to us to put the spotlight on stories such as these, so that we can get some type of justice. We're going to keep our brother in prayers. Hit the Cash App, man. Hit the Cash App, $BLMMS, to help Mark Lesure in his fight to get legal, obtain legal funds so that he can fight this. We want to see Mr. Police Chief Richard Chandler behind bars, and we also want to give the citizens in Senatobia some relief from the oppressive police department that they have there. So I did mention Concerned Voices podcast. That's a new podcast that we just started. All of you who are listening to my voice right now, if you would do me a favor and go over to Concerned Voices podcast, CVP, on YouTube, and just hit the subscribe notification, and also subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for our next podcast that's coming up to be premiered on tomorrow. So and I think that would be something interesting for y'all to take a listen to. We're discussing Black mental health on the podcast tomorrow. So make sure that you guys go on over to YouTube and subscribe to Concerned Voices podcast. I would greatly appreciate it. And also tune in on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. We're going to premiere the podcast concerning Black mental health. And with that being said, I want to thank everyone that tuned in now in the chat. Shout out to Miss Willa Williams that's in the chat there. Shout out to everyone. Nathaniel came through. Hayward McCullough came through. Thank you all for coming through. Listen, folks, the brother is absolutely right. We have to come together. We have to stick together, and we have to rally around stories such as this and make noises so that it's not just swept under the rug. I'm going to keep in touch with Patrick to make sure that that I can bring you updates on Mark Lesure's case and his fight to bring Chief of Police Chandler down. That is my wish, and I'm going to stay steadfast on following this case. And so, with that being said, like I said, thank you all for joining me. I'm Okoti Tamor with Okoti Speaks, news, facts, and comments in conjunction with Major TV. As usual, love you all with the love of Yahuwah. Take care of yourself and each other. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys on the next podcast. And shalom.
One for the money, you know what it is. Two for the show, yeah, we shut it down. Three, just to make sure you ready. Four, let them know that we run this town. One for the money, you know what it is. Two for the show, yeah, we shut it down. Three, just to make sure you ready. Four, let them know that we run. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You are now tuned in to the greatest. The greatest of all time. The greatest of all time.
I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be better.
One for the money, you know what it is. Two for the show, yeah, we shut it down. Three, just to make sure you ready. Four, let them know that we run this town. One for the money, you know what it is. Two for the show, yeah, we shut it down. Three, just to make sure you ready.